am Jitender Singh Dahiya. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and more. Today, I have with me Mrs. Tanaya Acharakar. Tanya has been in the field of education and development for more than a decade now. She carries to her credit experience as an academician, trainer, facilitator, B school interview panelist, Udemy instructor with students from over 147 countries, and an NLP practitioner, ICF certified life coach. She is the founder of Innerglint Coaching, a coaching company that helps professionals resolve career dilemmas through principles of NLP and Life Coaching. For Tanaya, learning and challenging herself are her lifelines, where her experiences as a working woman, now solopreneur, working for 3 countries, she aims at inspiring and supporting people through her experience and its skills to stand by their choices and take that leap of faith. So we are welcoming Tanaya. Today, she will be discussing with us about her life journey, her experiences. So let us hear from her. Welcome, Tanaya. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Thanks so much for having me. I am excited to share my journey with all of you, and hoping I'm able to support you and somewhere inspire you to help to help you take that leap of faith for yourselves.
Sure. Wonderful. Sure, wonderful, and we are looking towards that. So first of all, I would like to know about from your past life or present life, like how it helped you as a person, who you wanted to be and what you are.
Yeah. So I think the journey of my career, indeed, and my personal life has been interesting. I wouldn't say it has been a roller coaster ride, but I think it has been an indeed very invigorating journey. Okay. Because I think in school I was interested in science, and then I thought I wanted to be a scientist. But I think my areas of interest kept changing every year of school, and I ended up pursuing my graduation in hospitality, and I topped my university. I started working in the hospitality, and by that time I realized I don't want to settle on a bachelor's. I also want to take up my master's degree.
Okay.
And I am an introvert, and then I was shy along with being an introvert. So I decided to take up a master's in human resources just to be at the back office and not be into sales or on the field. And of course, finance is something that I didn't understand.
Like kind of fear of meeting people and like selling and all.
Yeah, that I was really fearful about. I think I'm bit today as well. So that's what happened. And I think after that, career happened to me. I didn't really plan my career path. But I think I came across the right set of people at that time who identified what my potential was, who thought I could contribute in a certain manner, and career happened. And what you just explained, I kept on studying. That's one thing that I made happen in my career, is not stop learning, because I'm a strong believer of learning. That keeps me up. So I love to keep reading, learning, upgrading myself, having a steep career growth. So that's my target, like every year. What did I acquire in terms of skills and knowledge and experience this year? So that's always on the top of my mind. But I had an interesting journey from being a hospitality graduate to being an academician, teaching hospitality students and management students. I right now facilitate sessions for corporate professionals. I do industry and institute tie-up programs for nursing homes in Mumbai. I interview professionals who want to take up an MBA program, and I have been into training, facilitating, consulting. So to answer your question, I think I was open enough to accept and adapt to changes. And that's why I came from Pune. I settled into Mumbai. I had an opportunity because of my husband's work to travel to the US. Lockdown happened. I transformed my business to get into the entire virtual working world, and now 100% of my work is now remote and virtual and online. So I think that's how all these factors, people, environment, have an inseparable part of my journey, and they have a valuable contribution. But I think I have just been accepting of the changes.
Like two things are really involved in any journey. One is you being an observant and observe the opportunities coming in your way and accepting the right opportunity at a right time. Hope I am correct with your journey with all these things. So from your past experience and your professional journey as well, I'd like to know about your passion, like how passionate you are about your life, what things you are passionate about in your life.
I think when I look at my life now, in the hindsight, I realized that I was always eager to teach and share things with others. As a child, I used to always hang up that blackboard and teach my sister and make her my student. But I seldom knew that I'm going to be a facilitator or teacher, because that's not something that I opted for in terms of my qualification. So at the moment also, what I'm really passionate about is sharing or giving away or distributing or disbursing knowledge that I have, because I believe that we are all mortal beings. And what's the use of me acquiring so many things, because I'm going to lose them with me. So I want to keep them and share them. So that I'm really passionate about. However, the way in which I have implemented or I have actually taken action on these things have been different in different phases of life. So sometimes it has been about food, sometimes it has been about teaching, sometimes it has been about training and facilitating, and now it is about coaching. But I think most of all the professions that I have been in is always about sharing my skills or my knowledge with people. So I'm extremely passionate about that thing, and I always feel grateful to be chosen and one of those people who are able to make difference in somebody else's life.
Yes, definitely. And to add upon on your life's game, which you used to play with your sister, I'd like to add here, my daughter is also followed the similar kind of games when she was a little younger. And I think this is common with most girls when they are at early age of their life. So on good note, so I'd like to know more about your work and experiences, like what all you do in your professional life and how.
So I always tell people it's a very non-linear profile that I have. For us, we are so used to knowing certain professions in a way that, okay, masters in HR executive, HR generalist, HR manager, or engineer MBA or engineer MS, and then settled abroad that way. But I think just because I have been pretty agile in terms of my life and my career, and I'm a very gut person, I listen to my gut feelings, I'm very kinesthetic that way. My career has been in a lot of areas, and I have taken up anything that came to me as a challenge, because that helps me up my game. That helps me prove to myself that I can exceed my own targets, and I'm not settling onto the current version of who am I.
Yes.
So at the moment, what I do is I am on career coaching sessions as a host for a company in US, which does career coaching sessions for employees of big organizations like Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, and IHS Market, and all of those. I have my own coaching company where I coach one-to-one, and I also have group coaching sessions. If you have any kind of career dilemmas, should I start my own business by now? Should I jump from engineering into creating my own podcast, or from being an architect to starting my own firm, or should I take up further qualification? We always have certain dilemmas. Or should I opt for a promotion? Should I change my country, and all of those? So I do career coaching, but then this career coaching is not really as we think the word coaching is used in the industry.
Yes.
These days, we all use the word, oh, I was depressed. If you ask a psychologist, he will say, oh, depressed is a word people are beating it to death just by not knowing actually scientifically what depression is. And that's what about coaching as well. So coaching is not advising or counseling or giving you career options to choose from. Coaching is like an internal excavation process.
Correct. So exploring your own self, basically.
Yeah. So you search for answers within yourself in the presence of a qualified professional. Yeah. So that you are able to get answers from yourselves. And these answers hence are sustainable answers. You can take actions because you have chosen them.
Correct.
What happens in advising sessions is somebody gives you an advice, you find it very attractive at that point in time, and after the journey fizzles out for a couple of months or years, you realize, oh, this is not what I really want to do, because the answers have never come from yourself. So that's what I do in terms of career coaching and using NLP and life coaching principles. That's the other aspect.
Correct. And the decisions you take from your own self, you yourself is accountable and responsible for them.
Yeah.
So your involvement, engagement to get them completed or get them fulfilled is your own responsibility, and you take it as a bigger challenge. If somebody else has give you a thought that you should be good in this thing and you should follow this practice or follow this stream, then there are chances that people would not succeed that much, that they can succeed when they have chosen that same field from their inside.
Absolutely, hang on. That's the principle of coaching, tapping your inner potential to get answers within yourself. But of course, that requires a lot of effort, because it's not very easy to face yourselves always, or even find out who you really are. So that's also a time-consuming process for a couple of sessions. But yeah, it's an interesting discovery that you make. And at the same time, I also interview a lot of senior and mid-career working professionals for a B-School. I continue to do that as I speak to you today. And I boast of interviewing more than 1,600 working professionals in the last 3 years for this B-School. So I am really aware of what people go through in their careers. Do they want to change? They want to take up an MBA program. And I have interacted with a gamut of individuals. Someone who works for the army, and they are deputed in the Republic of Congo for a tie-up with United Nations. Also somebody who's like a senior general manager IT of a well-known airline company, to somebody who has their own startup with a turnover of 1 crore just after 1 year of passing out their bachelor's from a reputed institute. So the stories are so inspiring, and it just opens up a lot of avenues for self-reflection that we sometimes end up limiting our beliefs so much and see what the world is doing. So
correct. There are so many possibilities which most of the time we don't look at.
So true.
Yes. So with this, like you are really passionate about your work, how you are doing it. So with this, I would like to know, like for next 5 to 10 years of time frame, what are the things which you have in mind? What is your vision, mission, and goal for these 5 to 10 years?
I have a vision for my life, and which I wrote down a couple of years ago and really hasn't changed. And I want to share that with all of you.
Okay.
So my mission is to be a learner and take charge of my life.
Yeah.
Strive for growth and excellence each day. Create something unique and spread self-awareness, and be my own hero. So that's my mission that I live for every single day.
Wonderful.
And I know that I have this intent to be my own hero, to spread self-awareness and keep learning and growing.
Correct.
And I think the intent is so strong that I land up such opportunities and people in my life, and I cross paths, because I think my intent is so strong. So that's what I want to share. However, I'm open to exploring various ways in which I will be able to do this. So today I might be a coach. Tomorrow you might see me speaking on a platform. Day after tomorrow you might see a book of mine coming up. I could get into research and development maybe, because I have I've written some research papers.
Yeah.
So you might see me researching and coming up with my own theory or something. So I'm open to exploring whatever comes my way. But I'm definitely not going to be the same as you see me today, and that's okay.
Correct. The growth is really important thing, and like every day you put up some or the other effort makes you perfect. Not perfect, but better each day. This is kind of my philosophy which I follow. Like 1% improvement each day can be a great improvement over a period of 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years. So keep on learning one good thing. So with this, like you already touched upon your work and your personal life. Out of those things, like personal and professional journey of yours, I'd like you to share your 3-4 learning which you like really bang on. which have changed you, which have improved you?
I have many, but the most profound that comes to me the moment you ask me this question is standing by your choices.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is your body always keeps giving you messages.
Correct.
And we often tend to ignore them. And the metaphor that comes to my mind is we all know that there are stars right up in the sky, even in the night today.
Mm-hmm.
But just because of so much of lighting and street lights and lit up buildings, we aren't able to see them. Yes. And it's just similar to the voice that we have within ourselves. We are so occupied listening to our own voices for materialism, that's money and home and career and power and authority, satisfying our own needs and family's needs, that we tend to ignore the tiny voice that exists within us, the light within us that keeps guiding us. And that's why the name of my company is Innerglint, the light within you. So that's the flash of light inside of you, and we tend to ignore that. So listening to that voice, you will never falter in life, because your body, scientifically proven, never lies to you. Yes. So science says that there are neurons in your gut. We sometimes say, right, that, oh, it's a gut feeling that I have. And some of us who are logical, rational human beings, we say, oh, data doesn't support this, I can't take this decision. But your gut feeling is
what you are doing is right.
Yeah. And your neurons are there. So they tell you, borrowing data from the environment, this is what you should be doing. But sometimes we don't take that step because people around us are not supporting us, or they are not validating or accepting our decision.
Correct.
And then we get into a state of dilemma. I feel I should be doing this, but nobody is agreeing to this. So let me leave this. That's the exact juncture where you really need yourself.
Correct.
So my most important learning is listen to your gut feeling. It will guide you in the right direction, because the universe has a plan for you that is not known by your family members, friends, your mentor, your guru at your workplace.
Yes, nobody knows it.
They will only give you advices based on their own experiences.
Correct.
And if your leap or your step doesn't match with what they have seen or they have experienced, they will tell you, please don't go ahead with this. So that's the first thing that's coming to my mind.
Yes. And their thoughts are limited to their own journey. This is one thing.
Of course.
And one more thing is there, like we are so much engaged consciously about so many things, we forget to hear our unconscious voice, or we can say that our inner voice.
True. So that's going to be your guiding light for life.
Yeah.
Second is think about tomorrow and not about today. Yes. Most of the dreams are crushed or they are never realized because we are so preoccupied in thinking of today. Oh, my friend of my age is earning this much of money and I'm in this job, I'm not, or I have my own startup. I'm not able to bootstrap it. I'm not able to do something about it. And we keep comparing about so many other things. He or she went to the other country, they have this and all of that. And what happens is we get stuck in that pile of expectations that others have from us, which become our own expectations in turn. And we just are living a life to satisfy them one after the other.
Agree.
But if you're able to listen to your own voice and be a little persistent, you will shape up to an individual that you would have never imagined. But maybe after a couple of years, because every one of us has his or her own timing to achieve things, and we are all destined to be there, and we cannot change that. So the earlier you accept, the more peaceful life will be for you.
Definitely. Like everybody have his or her own journey. You cannot compare it with somebody else's, because what you are doing and what he or she is doing is entirely different. So you cannot compare them.
Third thing that's coming to me is, of course, coming from the state of comparison as well. People tell me, see, now I am on my own. I don't work full time. I stopped working full time in the year 2013, December.
Okay.
And I don't work full time.
Okay.
And I have my own assignments. Yeah, quite a long time. And I have my own assignments. I work for different time zones. I work for US time zone, India, and India and all of that. And people tell me, Tanaya, it's so nice of you now. So it's so nice for you. You're working from home now.
Yeah.
You don't have to step out of the house, spend your time in travel. You're working for other countries now. You can choose when you want to take a leave, and we are in full-time jobs. I always tell people, you look at the brighter things that people have. But unfortunately, when I was paying the costs to get what I'm getting today, you were not there. So when you see somebody
like
super successful,
every story have a different challenges. Like since you are following different path, your challenges are entirely different, which that other person is not aware of until unless she or he started working on same lines, same line of activities, same routine. They would not be able to like know what exactly they are. So it's I would say it's a waste activity when we used to compare with ourselves to others.
So true. And it's important to remind us that whenever we see anybody super successful, that means they've done a super lot of compromises and giveaways to do that. I was reading this book, Ikigai, and they've given an example of an Olympic winner, and she has won a medal for some sport. And they said, you will not believe that what she used to do every day is 2 hours of meditation. So forget about practicing her sport, but she was actually meditating 2 hours every single day. So when we see somebody winning something, we're really not aware of the cost that they have paid to achieve that.
Practice is one aspect. Apart from practice, there are many things associated. Like you have to have a proper rest, you have to have a proper diet, you have to have a meditation, as like you said about it. And Ikigai is one of the best book I have come across, and I recommend everybody who is listening, hearing, it's a must read book for everyone.
They recently brought the second version. Like the people were asking the authors, how do you find your own Ikigai now? So I'm midway in the second version of the book, so I'm going to also read that.
Okay, good. So like from here now to your programs, like you are running up different programs for different kind of audiences, people. You are working with helping people for career coaching as well. You are working with professionals who are already having experience of more than maybe 10-15 years, who are undergoing for their higher degrees. So what programs are these, and how you manage all of these programs?
So I also need to get coached sometimes, because I'm always not the best manager, and we are all human beings. So I also have to search for a coach and get myself coached, because new things keep coming up, and changes are happening so fast. So rapid.
Correct.
What was applicable for my time management last week is not applicable this week and this month, because this month I have a new assignment on taking 6 sessions for a corporate batch. I am learning myself. So in a week, I usually attend classes to learn myself around 6 to 9 hours a week.
Okay.
So that's my learning investment that I do. Apart from that, it's reading and studying, submitting assignments for these. That's one aspect. The second is when I conduct lectures. For a 2-hour lecture, maybe I'm studying for 6 or 7 hours. And of course, it turns out to be a good class, but then I invest a lot of time in that.
Correct.
And I think I would give you an example or metaphor of being a singer. Whether they have concerts every day or no, they are doing this riyaz or their
practicing every day. Yes.
So it's similar for a coach. So I don't know. I don't think I will ever be able to call myself like the bestest coach. But as I improve my coaching skills, I have to keep practicing, and being more aware of myself, and more aware of my presence, my listening skills. So it's a practice every day. So it becomes sometimes challenging to work for different time zones also, because then overlap, then the daylight time saving starts, all of that. But at the moment, I'm juggling, because I figure out what are my priorities for the next 1 week, and then 2 weeks.
Correct.
And now with my company, there are so many other duties and compliances that you have to do. It's the website, it's the logo, statutory compliance, returns, and all of that. So that also takes a lot of time. So I'm juggling, but I think a lot of things are also coming my way. So if you decide to loosen up your control, you will see that the universe also has plans and it supports. But if I keep a rigid plan, that in this month, I have to do 5 podcasts, I have to get 100 hours of client coaching, I have to do this, and I'm not able to do this, then I get disappointed.
Correct. But disappointments would make you low on your energy, your productivity as well. So ultimately the result which you are expecting from your programs would not be of that standard which you look at.
So true. On this, I would just like to quote a line that I am very inspired from Dr. Sri Kumar Rao. Dr. Sri Kumar Rao is a professor at the Kellogg's University and many other universities. And he runs a program on personal mastery, and you just can't get him as a coach. You go through a rigorous interview and selection process for you to get him as a coach, and he's authored many books. He told us one thing in one of his webinars, and he says that it's good to have a goal and to work towards your goal. The success is not in the achievement of your goals, but the success lies in who you become in the journey to achieve your goals.
Correct.
So if you end up achieving your goal, it's a bonus, but don't have that expectation, because your real achievement is the transformation that you undergo when you're working towards your goals.
Right. So if we look at your programs, what would be the outcome, or we can say value addition towards your audience or the viewers, like who attend your program basically?
So the coaching that I'm focusing on is for professionals who should have a minimum of 5 or 6 years of experience, because then that also gives you a little bit of professional and individual maturity. So around 5, so starting from at least 5 or 6 years of work experience, and they come to me for a one-on-one coaching session. So I'm explaining that part of it. So in one-on-one coaching session, we use the principles of NLP. I have a diploma in hypnosis too, principles of life coaching. And in that session, we explore where do you want to go? What's your objective? Do you want a promotion? Do you want to set up your own business? What's the dilemma? Or do you want to better yourself? Not always that you should have a problem and only then you come to a coach. So we know that cricketers have a coach, tennis players have a coach, because you want to kind of be better, exploit your abilities, do better. So in that cases also people come to me, and then we have a one-on-one plan. Listening to the concerns, I give them a proposal that I roughly feel you will require 6 or 10 sessions or even more, or you will require 3 sessions or 4 sessions, and we sign up and we meet every week or every 10 days usually. And we have a one-on-one conversation. They have a set of actions that they come to through a self-discovery process that I guide them through. And then they take those actions, and then they come back to me 10 days later or a week later, and then we work out on subsequent plans. That's how the chunk is. So an ultimate outcome could be is you can get your career dilemmas resolved. You can get answers to the questions that you have been seeking. You can be a better professional or an individual. And the biggest bonus is, along with these answers that you get, you will undergo a transformation journey, because these are your answers. So you just can't get an answer without undergoing self-transformation and awareness about yourself, which remains with you forever, even if you stop coaching process with me. So the ultimate objective of a coach for a client is to make them self-aware and empower them, so that hopefully they don't need a coach again for the same topic. They will be empowered and aware enough to take care of their own issues in the future. So that's one. The second is group coaching programs. If people are okay and they are finding, what's my area of interest, what's my mission, what do I want to do professionally? 4 or 5 people in a group come together. I have a rollout of 12 weeks, which we have fixed processes and fixed visualizations that as a group you go together, you share your experiences, and you kind of take up that entire package for 12 weeks. And in between, you have an opportunity to do one-on-one coaching with me, because then you may not necessarily go with the speed of the group, and you may have some fears of yours that are personal to you and you want to discuss and work around those.
Sometimes it happens that people are not comfortable sharing in a group.
That's right.
So
that's how it is. So these groups are pretty smaller, but then they are all in the same boat. So the benefit is they also contribute to each other. They also feel comfort that I'm not the only ones. That way also, like, that support gets created, and all these sessions are extremely confidential, and I do follow the ICF guidelines, which is supposed to be the gold standard in coaching, the International Coach Federation. I am a certified coach through the
Wonderful. So selecting on a number of sessions requirement is entirely based on the level of the current status of mind of the student, and the self-awareness level also. So you consider both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's very intuitive. It's very intuitive. So it cannot be like a crash course. You do 15 sessions, you will be able to do that MBA entrance exam. It's not a syllabus. So what happens is it's very intuitive. And usually what happens in a coaching session is you decide on something else and something else comes up.
Yes, it may happen.
Like, yeah, sometimes we feel that, for example, I was coaching someone on, figuring out what is her career choice now, because she's done her architecture and that doesn't interest her anymore. And we've been coaching for 2.5 months now, around 10 days, every 10 days. And what came up in those coaching conversations was entirely something else, that she was possibly not able to, overcome her past. And that's not helping her take decision, for the future. So it was not really about the present dilemma within, what she has studied and what she wants to do, but basically about her past that was coming in the way and acting as an obstacle. So that does come up. So number of sessions do vary, but they are like purely intuitive, how much ever the client feels, because I'm at the service of the client.
Yes, definitely. And that really helps to firstly engage and understand each other, because as a coach, you also need to understand like the person, and that person also needs to understand what coach is expecting and what coach is having in her or his mind. So first thing is coordination should be perfect, so that giving and taking and sharing should be in sync.
Yeah. I have a call for that you can book, which I don't charge for. So for example, if tomorrow you're interested to do like a career coaching conversation with me, I will say directly, don't book a session with me. I will have like a half an hour or a 45-minute call with you. I will tell you what coaching process is like, what is expected out of you, how much commitment is expected, and are we comfortable to work with each other? And if yes, only then you go ahead and book a session with me.
Right,
so I call
because that is really
call.
important. Yeah. So like you touched upon the thing that you were an introvert initially, like when you were young. So I'd like to know more onto it. Like, do you still feel that you are introvert right now as well, or you have shifted to the other type of personality as an extrovert? So, and what are the positives and negatives of both?
So as a child, I always thought that I was shy, but of course, a little bit of psychometric assessments, and now I know, I'm aware. I'm a big fan of Susan Ken's book called Quiet. If so, anybody who's listening to this podcast and you are an introvert, you might want to go and read that book. That's called Quiet. I repeat again. And you will find that's the book that's exactly been written for you. And Simon Sinek also says, an introvert is a person who feels that other people drain their energy. And for me, it's the same. That a lot of people drain my energy. I'm the most productive when I'm alone. I'm the most productive when I'm in my own space and I'm doing things by myself. So characteristic wise, I'm still an introvert.
Okay.
But since I have been agile and adaptable, I have been able to develop my own communication skills, present myself well to people, because learning is my ambition, and that's one of kind of the values that I possess. So that way I have been able to overcome. But like a small anecdote here is when I was a child and I wanted to get admission into a school from a playgroup. I was interviewed in 8 schools and I did not get admission anywhere.
Okay.
There was only a school, and like an average school, where they gave me sugar candy, and I loved sugar candies. I just told my name and I studied in that school, until I went to college. That shy I was that I just didn't like speaking to people. I ate my tiffin alone and I didn't have friends, that sorts. But today, when people speak to me and I have conversations and I deliver sessions, people don't really feel that I'm an introvert. But I feel it's not only about communication, it's about your emotions. How do you feel when you're surrounded with a lot of people? So I still continue to be one. And I get some advantages of being an introvert is I can decide my own speed, because I'm not working with people. I decide my own speed. In the lockdown, I was the happiest person even being at home because I could get so much work done. I thought, okay, there are no social gatherings, there are no parties, nobody coming over. I studied so much in the last 1.5 years. I got this coaching certifications. I got 2 other coaching certifications. I got my first level of ACC from ICF. So I was super happy about that. So, and it helps. And being an introvert also helps me like my own company. So it's easier for me because as a part of my profession, I need to read a lot. I need to study a lot. I don't need company. So I am just able to enjoy my company, read and study. So that works in my favor. If I was an extrovert and I always needed people or enjoyed people's company, I would possibly have to look out then for people who will be there always with me. So I think that's definitely an advantage for me at the moment.
And as a trainer, as a coach, the amount of training and self-development you work on really helps when you get into the delivery mode. Yes. So with this, I'd like to know about your own journey. Who were your supporters during this journey, and who supported you the most?
I think I will start with myself because I don't want to be ungrateful and take away credit from my own gut, my own awareness that has helped me in my journey. So it starts with me, my awareness, my intent, and the universe who is kind of giving or supplying me what I'm asking for. And in terms of people around me, my family has been an immense support. The both of us are daughters. My father really never brought us up like women. We were always brought up as sons. So whether it's plumbing work at home, whether it is cleaning the loft, or buying a refrigerator from home, as a girl, we've done all of those things, and we know. So we've always been brought up as boys. My father always told me, Tanaya, you are educated and you know how to read the number of the bus and you have the home telephone number. So I stepped out of the house when I was 15, and I used to travel to Mumbai from Pune and all of that. I stayed alone in Mumbai for 7 years. So I think that makes me a strong woman, and I really owe that to my family. My parents are immensely supportive. My mother is like an advocate for women being on her own and making her choices. And after I'm married, I am blessed to have a similar husband who is again very motivating and encouraging of what I do. And I think that's very important, because when you have one part of your life which is very supportive and settled and you don't have to fight, it acts as your support. It's a base where you can bank on, and then you can take that leap. So I think they have been my biggest supporters. And in terms of inspiration, one day I want to be someone like Dr. Sri Kumar Rao, or somebody like like Brené Brown, who's a researcher, and she has a lot of TEDx and TED Talks, and she's authored a couple of books. So that's where I see myself. I think they are my inspiration.
Okay, same. I was just about to ask about your inspirations in life. So you already named two people. So can you share more onto it? Like why they are your inspirations?
I think somehow I'm in this phase of my life where I know that my journey is toward moving into myself. It's going inward rather than outward. So I'm not opening out to the world. My journey is
exploring your own self, basically.
Yeah, that's my journey. And Dr. Sri Kumar Rao is a coveted and a very knowledgeable person in his field, and he has come up with this program on personal mastery through reading a lot of spiritual books. So ultimately what we speak about, awareness and theories and all of that, that's long been there in our scriptures. He's translating that into a format, into a program that our generation or current generation can take the benefit of. And yet whenever you hear him or see him, there is no jazz around it. There is no introductory video. There is no music. There is no poster that says I'm going to make a difference to 20 million lives and all of that. He is just authentic. And I think that's what I relate most to him. I want to be a knowledgeable woman, more knowledgeable as compared to who I am today, and yet be grounded. And I'm not going to market to you, this is what I'm going to do in life, this is what I'll help you achieve. I want to be authentic, and that's what people appreciate about me, that I show up the way I am and I'm honest. Like in a coaching, a discovery call also, I tell people, you have to do all the heavy exercise and the heavy lifting. I will not tell people that you just come and have sessions with me and I'm going to transform your life. I'm not going to make those promises to you. So authenticity in Dr. Rao. And in terms of Brené Brown, I remember I've read most of the books that she has written, and she says her first TEDx talk, she was so embarrassed. She comes home and she tells her husband, I think I should have done a much better job. I did a terrible job. And her husband tells her, Anyway, it's okay. How many people are going to view that video? Let it be. And then the views for her talk keeps on increasing, millions and billions, and she's like a TED speaker. Her Netflix talk is amazing. You all should listen to it. And she writes so much about courage and vulnerability.
Yes.
And I do feel that ultimately you have to face yourself, and you have to be able to face yourself in the presence of others, and there isn't any other shortcut, or there isn't any other way you can rig this process. So being vulnerable and just being able to spread that awareness to others is what I look up to her. And I think she also does a lot of research work, as I said, so that's something that fascinates me. She is a professor with the University of Houston, and she also does a lot of research work, and that's where I'm looking to be one day.
Yes, definitely. Like the kind of knowledge you gather, that definitely work out well for you, and you definitely use it to help others as well. So this is really important in everybody's life, to be knowledgeable, to learn new things every day. Really inspirational. So with this, you really touched upon success in a previous question. I'd like to know more about what is your take on success? How does it look like to you?
Success, for me, I would say I'm successful until the day I'm able to be better than who I was yesterday.
Okay.
So I don't define it in number of clients, in terms of money or whatever. But I want to keep challenging my current status quo and want to be a better version of me tomorrow. And that's why you introduced me correctly. That's my lifeline. I can't imagine surviving to be doing the same assignments, to be at the same level of my knowledge and abilities every single day. I hate mediocrity, and I hate monotonousness. I love variety and I love challenges, and that's what keeps me alive.
Correct. If you are on same state for a longer time, it is kind of monotonous job. And unless there is some challenge to improve yourself, that journey nobody is looking at. Like I personally in not favor of staying on one level of journey for a longer time. So I feel that I should move on, gather some more knowledge, some more learnings from the life, to improve my journey, to improve myself personally from outside as well as from within. That is really important to me.
Absolutely. So for all those who are listening, Jitender keeps interviewing people. One of the days I wish to interview him, because he also has a lot of store in terms of knowledge. He's doing his PhD, and he's working, and he's running these podcasts and doing a couple of other initiatives. He has this book, so maybe one day you will listen to both of us, but in the roles switched.
Really telling you about this, these interviews also are great learning for me as well. Understanding from people who already have so much of experience, and engaging with them for 2 to 3 sessions, then finally conducting this interview really helped me to being aware of something new every day. We are discussing about something today. It has many things which I was not aware of, which I have learned from you. Similarly, every day I am engaging with one or the other wonderful people, and they really help me to gain something new every day. This is kind of wonderful thing. I don't know how I got this idea, but this is turning out to be wonderful thing to me. I think this would be wonderful for all the audiences out there. So lastly, I'd like to request you to share your few of the advices, maybe 2 to 3 advices from wherever you feel like your personal or professional life, which can help our audience to grab in our conversation in a small span of time to get their life better.
The times that we are today, please don't stop learning.
Yes.
Because then you will realize that, oh, now there is COVID, I lost my job. Oh, now there's something happened, and you will keep blaming other people and other situations. And situations are so uncertain these days that nothing's predictable. Invest in yourself. We
Yes.
don't think before investing in a movie, shopping for ourselves, making that international trip. But we think 200 times if we have to invest in a course which is 1 lakh rupees. We say, oh, is it worth it? Am I going to really use it in my life? And we have 200 questions, for that.
Yes.
So please invest in yourself, upskill yourself, keep learning.
And
second, don't get influenced.
And before you
by
go
people.
into second point, I'd like to add one more thing. Like most of us feel like we don't have money to invest in our learning. So for them, I'd like to advise one thing: have a kitty, make a separate account wherein you can put up some money, maybe some percentage of your income.
Absolutely.
That can really help you. That money can be used for 2 to 3 courses in a year, maybe small, maybe a little longer, depending on what exactly you wanted to do in life. Make a kitty out of your savings and investments. Yes.
Okay, I love that idea. Yeah, that's the first thing that you should be doing. Second is, don't get influenced easily by people. Use people's advice as a guideline and further research on your, on those advices. And finally, you should take the decision and you should own your own decision. So that's very important.
Don't follow blindly. Do your own research.
Yeah, that's important because nowadays we want everything easily. Google result. Ask someone, want the answer. We don't want to go and strive for that answer, but then the effect of these of these answers is also really short-lived. So that's the drawback. And the third thing is, you cannot not read. You have to read whatever you like, whatever interests you, apart from fiction. But please read, because that really transforms who you are. I'm going to share this one incident. I gave this idea to somebody else, and I was, telling him, you should read. It's going to change your life. And he said, oh, please don't say this in front of my wife, because then she'll say, how much has your life changed? You've read so many books. But I disagree to this because reading unconsciously keeps changing you as a human being over a period of time, and you don't even realize the difference. And it's just like what you said at the start of the session, a compounding effect. Things keep accumulating over a period of time. You have to read. If you are able to travel, nothing like it, because traveling and reading really opens up largely, and expands your thinking and the way you look at things. And
it's a new horizon altogether. Yes. Like definitely it's wonderful thing whenever you got time, maybe traveling, maybe at home, maybe in office, keep one book with you, start reading that. Yes. So with this note, this was a wonderful discussion with you, and you have shared amazing, wonderful insights from your personal and professional journey. I really enjoyed our conversation and looking forward to hearing from your side soon. Thank you so much, Tanaya, for your time, and I'm really thankful for today's discussion. Also, I would be sharing the links of her website and social media with our video, so that people can engage with Tanaya, take her help wherever possible. And finally, I'd like to thank you everybody who is watching and listening. I hope you must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching our discussion as well. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good time, and thank you. Bye-bye.